Hello, hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Chaos in the Paddock. Today, I am back with Claire, and we will review the latest news and the Dutch Grand Prix, which we're both very, very happy about. Say hi, Claire.
Hello everyone, I'm back. As the last time, my social are racing dolls, both in TikTok and Instagram, and I have a lot of things to do about, a lot of to say about the Dutch Grand Prix and the news that just broke like 2 hours ago, I think.
2 hours ago, it
It was
was. You guys, Franco Colapinto is now a Formula One driver for nine more races, isn't it?
yes, only nine, less races than Nick De Vries. Nick got 10 races, and he got only nine to like prove himself. That's not a lot actually.
How do you feel about this? Because I fell to the floor. Like I was at work and I fell. Like I was like, wait.
I was napping. I was literally napping, and I woke up to the news, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I, I would say that it was an unexpected news. Like it's not like something that nobody saw coming. Everybody was talking about this, about the fact that Logan Sargeant could get dropped in the middle of the season for like months. It's been months, but I didn't think they will drop this kind of news on a random Tuesday on a race week.
It's
I was
almost
waiting.
media day.
Yeah, I was waiting for media day, or maybe I don't know, the summer break. I think they should have done that during the summer break, like
Yeah.
not one race after the summer break during a race week on a random Tuesday, because no one was ready for this to drop.
No, I can confirm that no one was ready because the newsroom did not expect, like we thought it was going to be Mick. That was the highest chances that we had because Kimi Antonelli, no, Toto won't do that. It wouldn't have been Liam Lawson either, because I don't think James Vowles and Christian Horner are friends. I'm not really sure about their relationship, but I was very, very shocked. I don't know. I felt like something was wrong. And I looked at my phone and I saw 50 like missed calls from my boss. And I was like, oh no. So instead of opening Instagram, I actually opened the WhatsApp group and all of the journalists were like, what the hell? What's going on? Oh my God. I didn't know. And I checked my emails because actually I'm friends with the PR of Colapinto. So I'm on the mailing list. And they were like, we didn't know either.
Everybody was surprised, but I mean, it was the obvious choice for me because he's in the Williams Driver Academy, so it's not like they picked somebody else like from another driver academy. And also, I think they didn't want to pick Mick Schumacher only because Mick Schumacher is still maybe one of the options for Audi. And you don't want to train another like one of your rival for free because let's just say if Mick was to drive for 9 races in F1. He already has a little bit of experience with us, we know, and he will have drove for 9 more races, and then he can still be the Audi number 2 driver with Nico Hülkenberg.
Mm-hmm.
It would have mean that Williams would have trained him for 9 more races for free. Like Audi is going to be like the rival of Williams, so why would they do that? And also choosing Colapinto is like, okay, if he does bad, that's the same thing that was going to happen with Sargent. Sargent wouldn't have improved in like 9 races. He had 1 year and a half, one season and a half, and he didn't improve that much. He improved a little bit, but not that much. So they're like, okay, we pick a young driver. He doesn't have any experience. If he's not good, nothing changed. Like Sargent wouldn't have been good. And if he's great, maybe somebody else will try to like have him on their team, and they will have to like buy him from us. So it's like a win-win situation for Williams. That's why I'm not surprised that they decided to choose somebody like Colapinto because he was their own reserve and like Formula 2 drivers. I'm like, yeah, that's the obvious choice.
Imagine if they chose Luke Browning from F3. I mean, that wouldn't have been realistic. But then
No,
again, at this point, anything can happen. Really, at this point, I think anything can happen because here's my problem because I'm a Formula E fan and I'm a Formula E journalist, right? We actually, Fleur can comment on this when she listens to this, but Taylor Barnard, another Formula 2 driver, was announced as a Formula E driver for McLaren today.
I say.
So for me, I'm like, why the hell did you announce it today? Like, give Taylor his spotlight as well, because that's an achievement. When you're in Formula 2, you're paying to drive. Your sponsors are paying to drive. But once you reach a certain level, you're getting paid. Like, I'm pretty sure Colapinto will get paid as well. Like, come on. I don't know what the clauses are.
Yeah.
But Taylor Barnard had the choice. Like we knew, like as the journalists, we knew that he got the offer and we knew that he will take it because if you have the option to continue in Formula 2 or get paid to drive, what are you gonna take? Because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even if he has to get out next season because someone else maybe comes along, at least he got paid for it and he could invest the money and do something with it. So now that it's Colapinto, I totally get your point. Like he is the most logical person to take. Like why would Williams pay extra money to loan Liam Lawson? I think Liam would have done a good job because we saw what he did with the AlphaTauri back in the day. So I'm pretty sure, he would have killed it. I honestly think Mick would have done a good job as well. I think he has had time to heal himself from Haas trauma, and I call it trauma because that was really insane.
Yeah.
That was insane what happened. And I think, Mick has talent. I think we should not rule him out just yet. I mean, how old is he? He's like 24. So I think he still has a lot of time. Like, if Nico Hülkenberg can come back and do this with the Haas, I'm pretty sure Mick can work wonders as well, in a different series. And if he gets the chance to come back. Colapinto is the most obvious choice. I don't know why we weren't thinking about it. Or were you thinking about it? You probably had it in your head.
I mean, I was like, I wouldn't have understand, as I said, if they choose somebody from another driver academy. I mean, even like 1 or 2 weeks ago, everybody was talking about the possibility of Mick Schumacher going to Alpine because he is an Alpine endurance driver.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking to the possibility of him going to Audi because he is German and Audi is a German like constructor and they won the world German team. And I'm like, you cannot help your direct rival. That's why I was like, they cannot like Liam Lawson, give money to Red Bull, train him a little bit more for 9 races, he do good, bring back some points, but obviously not a lot because this is still a Williams car, so he bring back some points, and at the end, Helmut Marko and Christian Horner wake up and are like, oh, okay, but it's really good. You know what? You are going to get the VCARB seat. Thank you for training him for like 9 races for free. It was really good. We are very happy about that. Thank you, Williams. And then you are fighting like a driver that you train for 9 races for free. And I'm like, no, this is not going to happen. So Franco Colapinto was the obvious choice. He is young, yes, but it can be worse than Logan Sargeant. Logan Sargeant didn't bring points. Logan Sargeant crashed cars.
Once, remember? I don't know what race it was, but somebody got disqualified and he moved up. Somebody got a penalty. I don't remember that anymore.
But that's not really something to brag about.
That's what I said. You should have seen my comment on this post.
When you bring 1 point, it's like, maybe don't brag a lot about it. It's still just 1 point, and your teammate is way better in a shitty car. So yeah, it costed a lot of money to Williams, and he brought 1 point for a lot of crashes. Some of them weren't his fault, but still, it's a lot of money. And I think the root of the problem doesn't lie with the fact that they replaced him in the middle of the season because he didn't get the job done, because that is true. I think the root of the problem is they resigned him even though they didn't believe in him. They didn't have any trust in him. And we could say that since Australia, because they literally were like, okay, your teammate trashed the car and we don't have any chassis, so we're going to give your brand no crashed chassis to the teammate that did the crashing, you know? And I was like,
And he
that
didn't even get any points.
no, he didn't even get any
I
points.
mean, Alex Albon is not a bad driver by all means. I think he deserves to be in a better car. I think with Alex, I don't want to say it's a problem because I understand it because I'm the same. I think with Alex, he wants to have a positive environment.
Yeah.
I think that's what Williams gives him, which Williams probably did not give Logan Sargeant because you can see every time it's a race weekend, his face is always like, it's kind of sad. You could, a picture tells 1,000 words.
I think last year was fine, but since the start of this year, you can see the difference between like, and you can see like the wall between Logan Sargent and James Wolfe. You can see like the communication isn't really communicating. They no communication at the moment between the two of them, and now obviously it's done, so no more communication needed. But I'm still a little bit. I mean, I didn't like the fact that they resigned him, even though they didn't believe in him.
Mhm.
You could
You
have,
can see it. You can
yeah.
totally see it.
And James Wolfe starts the contract negotiation with Carlos Sainz in December of last year. So they were like, okay, we're going to sign him for 1 year, and we have no intention whatsoever to sign him again in 2025. So they could have given Franco Colapinto a new year, a brand new year, like a new rookie, and that's it.
In all honesty, I think Franco Colapinto would have done a better job because he's really pretty impressive in Formula 2. And I think, like what Ollie Berman said when he got signed, or before he got signed, but everyone knew that he was going to get signed anyways. So Ollie Berman said the F1 driving style now suits him much better.
Then F2.
Yeah, than F2. And that is with some drivers. And you can tell that the F2 driving style suited not Liam Lawson, Logan Sargent. They all have L names.
And
L names. But maybe he needed 1 or 2 more years in F2. Or maybe sometimes you can drive a different series, like Esteban Ocon was in DTM, like my series. Like I love DTM. And Nico Hulkenberg also did WEC. He won Le Mans. I mean, that's a very big achievement to win Le Mans. Like that's legendary. And they come back and they're stronger than ever because now they are more mature. And I think Logan Sargent deserved that. I think if Logan Sargent would have had more time or maybe try out something else, which is what people forget, is they forget that racing is big. Racing is not just F1. You have, okay, MotoGP is quite unrealistic. Can you imagine? But hey, if Valentino Rossi can change to sports cars, why can't a person who was in F2 change to change to, let's say, WEC for one season, even if it's just one season or to test or something. Even Vettel was testing for WEC.
Yeah, I think it's easier going to like single seater to series like, I don't know, DTM or WEC. Also, I saw a lot of people telling like, oh, Logan Sargent should go to like IndyCar and stuff. And I want to know your opinion on this one because I have a very like non-common opinion on the Logan Sargent going to IndyCar like news and stuff. And I want to know yours first. What do you think about this?
On IndyCar, okay. So a lot of people don't know that I am actually accredited for IndyCar. Yeah, people forget, everyone forgets that I'm an accredited IndyCar journalist. I just don't really like pay attention to it that much yet because I'm so busy with Formula E, Formula 2, Formula 3, F1 Academy that I'm like, okay, I need to push to the side. But if Prema actually comes in, I think it would be a good environment for Logan Sargeant. I think it's worth a shot, but I think he has to test first because I think Grosjean is also doing quite well. Like, I think he's happy where he is. Obviously, F1 is always the goal. You want to be in Formula One because it's the most elite out of everything. Because with IndyCar right now, they're going to have changes in the rules, which is going to be an issue. For example, for Chip Ganassi Racing, they have 5 drivers right now. and they're not sure if they can have 5 drivers next season because of
Yeah.
certain rule changes. So some people's seats are in jeopardy. I mean, not even Marcus Armstrong, former Formula 2 driver, is safe. So, there's different rules. It's also still single-seater, but maybe that type, ovals and everything, would suit Logan Sargeant much more than F1. Granted, he will have to be a bit more buff because, there's lots of arm steering and everything. So that's a whole new training, a whole new challenge, but it's also a fresh start, which is what he probably needs. And therapy.
Yeah, definitely. After the one,
Therapy.
definitely therapy. They all need that actually. But I think everyone is like looking at IndyCar as lesser than Formula One because, as you said, Formula One is like the Queen Series. Everyone wants to go to Formula One. It's like, but I don't think IndyCar is any easier than Formula One. And if Logan Sargeant wasn't suited to Formula One, maybe it won't be to IndyCar because IndyCar is hard. Like I don't watch it as much as I watch Formula One or MotoGP, obviously, but I watch enough to know that IndyCar is as hard as Formula One. It's just only in America, but they have a lot of similarities in terms of like obviously cars. They look like a lot alike.
Well, I will tell you the similarities when I'm back from Nashville.
Exactly. I want to know more. You should do more podcasts.
Maybe we'll all turn in. Maybe
and
we'll forget about F1 and suddenly turn into IndyCar fans. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Actually, though. Yeah, no, continue.
I was just going to say, I don't think IndyCar will suit him. He needs to try it. He needs to try every opportunity he has. And if Prema offer him a seat in IndyCar, he will be a dummy to not try it. And I don't think Logan Sargeant is a dummy at all. So he will probably try it. But I don't think it will suit his style either because IndyCar drivers are harsh and they are like not kind to each other at all on social media. And
wow.
and Logan Sargeant was already kind of like alone in F1. We also during social media and during like media day and the driver parade and stuff like this. It was kind of all alone, or Oscar was with him because they were friends back in F2. And like I don't think F1 is as harsh as IndyCar in terms of like environment. And this is the same kind of difficulty. And if it was P20 in Formula One, I don't think it's going to be like P3 in IndyCar by some miracle.
Oh, no.
It will probably be still at the back of the field in an even harsher environment. It will be closer to his family. That's true. So maybe it would be better for him. But I will totally like switch, as you say, go to DTM, go to endurance.
We have a seat for him in DTM. Like, come on. I have a seat for you, Logan Sargeant. That's fine.
Because people are talking about IndyCar like IndyCar is like a feeder series to Formula One and a lesser series to Formula One. It's not. It's as harsh, even maybe harsher. And I'm afraid that Logan Sargeant is not going to survive the IndyCar environment. I know for a fact that I won't survive this environment. I will survive the F1 because they are peer trained and a little bit less harsh. I won't survive the IndyCar environment. I would probably either die or try to fight someone. I just no.
I mean,
the driver
Santino Ferrucci he's a very special person. And I will be nice because this is a podcast, but I think the listeners can understand what I mean. If you're into history, if you're into racing at all, you would know why Santino Ferrucci is a very controversial driver. But I have to give credit where credit is due. And getting that pole this weekend was impressive. That doesn't mean I like him as a person. This is okay because this is, this podcast is chaos in the paddock. It's chaos.
It does.
Chaos can always happen, and we are allowed to have our own opinions. But if he can, kind of improve his driving style as well, even though he was very controversial in, F2, if Grosjean can also perform and have fun, Marcus Ericsson, hey, why not? And you're right. I think every driver should always try the opportunities. You should not limit yourself just because your goal is to have an F1 seat.
Yeah,
If you love cars, if you love racing, you will do whatever you can to stay racing. And if
definitely.
it means you're going to race in Formula E, then you're going to race in Formula E. If it means you're going to go to IndyCar, then by all means, go to IndyCar. We're still here to support you. We're here. Like, we're fans of racing in general. Like, if you decide to go to MotoGP, then fine.
I don't think it's going to happen though. On this side, going from like racing to MotoGP, like going to be hard. But I don't know, Rossi did the other way around, going from like moto to car, but going from car to moto, yeah, going.
You know who I think can do it? Lewis Hamilton. I think he can do it.
He did try.
Or Lando. I think Lando could.
I don't think he could. He doesn't have like the body for.
I'm
for
not
the
gonna
MotoGP.
lie, we've talked about it.
He would love to do that, probably.
We would love to.
He like MotoGP, but those men, oh my god, they are from another planet. Like, yeah, they really are another breed of men. They're just not the same.
I mean, the Dutch GP was in general very interesting because it's what led to the chaos that we're having right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, actually. From 1 to 10, what would you rate it? But you have to be very like, be the journalist right now. Like, don't just say 10 because you're a McLaren fan.
No,
I need you to be like,
this is what I was going to say. You're going to be surprised. I'm going to be unbiased. I will probably rate this race 6 out of 10. It was a good race, but it wasn't that surprising. You look at the qualifying session, you look at the end of the race, and it's basically kind of the same. Like, nothing really changed that much. I was more surprised by the midfield than I was surprised by like the top 5. Let's say the top 5. Lando won, so obviously I was happy as a McLaren supporter and a McLaren fan. He won fair and square, and I don't think it's going to be the only race. I mean, it was the second race. I think he's going to win a lot of races until the end of the season, probably like 1 or 2 more at least. And yeah, this race was actually quite boring. We're not going to lie, he did lead back 22 seconds, okay? And the only spicy moment was the overtake on Kevin Magnussen by 4 cars in the same turn. That was like the only spicy moment.
What? I didn't actually see that because for those listeners, I was in Zandvoort. I was, enjoying myself. I was, doing the F1 Academy. I reported on that this week. And I was not on F1 duty except for when I spoke to, Toto, like I sent you guys, and when I was with George Russell for like a few minutes, just, 5 minutes to ask him his opinion on something. But I wasn't actually like working. So I was just focused on Ferrari and I was focused on McLaren. And everyone else was like, okay, bye.
It was a good overtake.
It was like if I need to rewatch that then, but who I was impressed by? Lance Stroll.
I mean, it was in the overtake also. It was like Kevin Magnussen was overtook by first Alex Albon, then Pierre Gasly, then Fernando Alonso, then Lance Stroll in like a straight and a turn in, I don't know, 10 seconds? Not even 10 seconds. And then Pierre Gasly overtook everyone. And he ended up
that's what I saw because Alpine's garage. I had a friend who was with Alpine who was doing their photography this weekend, and they were there, and he texted me and he's like, "Are you seeing this?" And I just looked, so I went down to the garage and I put my little headphones on, and I was like, "Oh,
an Alpine overtaking 2 Aston Martin and 1 Williams." I was like,
"Oh." I mean, the Williams is a given because I think the Williams, you know what? I think the Williams last year was better than the Williams this year.
But same for Alpine. The Alpine last year was way better than the
I
Alpine.
mean, you had Pierre Gasly on the podium. Like, here's the thing. I forgot he was on the podium. And then I had my Instagram memories, like, when I had the stories and stuff and my Be Real. Actually, last year before the race, Pierre Gasly gave me a fist bump. And I like to believe that this fist bump caused him to be on the podium.
I mean, he did a great race, even though he wasn't on the podium. But he's driving an Alpine in 2024, so yeah, the podium is
doing good. It's like Nico Hulkenberg in the Haas.
The
Pierre Gasly is doing what Nico Hulkenberg is doing. God's work.
But the Haas is better than the Alpine. In my opinion, the Haas is probably the best out of the midfield team with Vicarb. And then you've got like Alpine and Williams.
Vicarb with Yuki and not with Daniel.
I mean, Daniel isn't doing that bad.
Well, he's doing that great. Yeah, he's doing better than the Sauber together.
Yeah. Valtteri Bottas is fighting for his life in this. That is actually so sad. Also, thanks to Sauber, Logan Sargeant last race, he didn't end P20. It was like P16, I think.
Joe, so I have it in front of me. Joe was 2 laps behind. And in 20, Bottas was also 2 laps behind in 19. Then Magnussen 1 lap late, Tsunoda 1 lap behind. Logan was P16, 1 lap behind. And then Ocon, Albon, Stroll, Ricardo, Hülkenberg in 11, and Alonso in 10. But my question is, what happened to Alonso? Like last year, he was on the podium like how many times?
I think it's the car. I'm not going to lie. As I said in the last episode, I am quite disappointed by Alonso because he was fighting for podiums and now he's fighting for point, singular, not even points, point. But the car is not great. I'm not going to lie. He's still better than his teammate and the car isn't great. So he can do much more, Like the Aston Martin is fighting with the Williams and the Vicarb and the Alpine, and it's quite sad. And it's nowhere near the top 4 car. Like nowhere near, not even Mercedes or Ferrari. I'm not even going to talk about the rocket ship that is the McLaren.
I mean, Ferrari was very shocked that if you saw the videos, if you saw the clips, Fred Vasseur was like, what the hell? And then Charles, when he asked Max, because Lando wasn't there yet in the room, the cool down room, and then he's like, oh, how far ahead was the McLaren? And then Max was like, 20 seconds plus, and that clip of Charles lives in my head rent-free. He's like me during exam season.
Taking his head in his hands, was like, oh, we're so done.
We need to drink tonight. I think he was like, we need to have a club and all the wine and the vodka we can order, because what the hell? And I'm looking at it right now. Max Verstappen was 22.896 seconds behind. And then Leclerc was 25.439 seconds behind Lando.
He still fights Oscar though. He still managed to fight Oscar in the same car. So that's... Obviously, McLaren did Oscar dirty again in terms of strategy, I think so. But the Ferrari isn't that bad, I was more surprised by Mercedes and the lack of Mercedes on the podium. Because for the past 3 races before the summer break, Mercedes was better than Ferrari by far. They were up there. And I was watching and I was like, what's happening to Lewis Hamilton getting knockout in Q2? I was pissed.
I have to break right now, just 1 second, because my boss just wrote an article that might be interesting for people to read and you to read. Formula 1 did not see the best of Logan Sargeant, and he deserved more respect from his team boss.
True and untrue. As I said, they could have dealt with the Logan Sargeant situation in a better light, but this is still F1. And I think what is the problem? The problem is everybody was seeing James Vowles as the kind team principal of the grid, the one that will cuddle all of his driver. And if Logan Sargeant was in Red Bull, nobody would have said anything, because we all know that Christian Horner is he doesn't care about this kind of thing. You out, you out. Like, that's it. But a lot of people were talking about James Wolfe like he was like, I don't know, a very
You
like
have to
parental
admit, him
figure.
trying to flirt his way into Carlos's life was kind of funny. That was really good. Those
He was dating. Like that was dating. That was
very
a
demure,
situationship. That
very
was a
mine.
situationship. Like literally very
Yeah.
demure, very mindful, very cutesy.
It was very cute. I want that
James,
kind of attention from a guy.
literally, it was like pursuing, courting. That was courting, courting him, giving him gift. Like this. James, that's a Formula One driver. That's not your wife. Wake up.
And your kids or whoever. Remember, you have a wife, James.
Yeah. Focus on your relationship, please. But yeah, I mean, Logan Sargeant, yeah. What's done is done. I'm sad for him, but he will have better experience in the future. Formula One just wasn't for
I
him.
mean, look at Nick
I think
DeVries. I think Nick is learning to
it's
be
way
happy.
more
I've
happier.
met him a couple of times now working the Formula E, and it was, because for me, remember, I went from fan to working, but I was a very like quiet fan. I'm not the one that's like thirsting on social media, or I'm not the one who's like posting every single thing because I know I wanted a career and I know I wanted like a job. So I was always a little bit more reserved. So when I found out that he was replaced, Nick DeVries, I was like, okay, this happened. Now what? I knew in my heart that he was going to go back to Formula E because it's still a different environment. It's a lot
Yeah.
more positive. Yes, it's still very competitive because, they had a lot of different race winners, and you saw what happened during the finale with Mitch Evans and Pascal Wehrlein and Nick Cassidy. It could have been one of those three. If Oliver Rowland was not sick during the race in Portland, it probably could have been a fight between four drivers, which is the kind of competitiveness we wish to
Yeah.
see in Formula One. But it's just a different league, Formula E is still a startup sport. So with F1, now that McLaren is really fighting, I mean, we did our predictions. Remember that. We did our predictions, and a lot of us predicted that the Constructors' Championship will not be for Red Bull, but it will go to
Yeah.
McLaren, which is already an achievement considering how good Max is. Because a lot of people hate on Max. A lot of people hate on Max fans, which I don't understand because I said if you want to be a fan of Max, you have to be free to be the fan of whoever you want.
Yeah.
There's no need
Yeah.
to hate because a lot of people who really watch motorsport, to really understand, know that Max is really good.
Yeah. And
And
he
I'm
proved
trying
it
to
every
stay
time.
PG here because, I wanted to use a different word to say really good. But, we respect what he does. Yes, it's annoying for us because, we're obviously, I mean, I'm a Lando fan, but I'm also a Ferrari fan at heart. Like, I love Ferrari, I love Carlos, I love Charles. And to me, it's hard to see them struggle, especially because they're right next to us in the pit lane. So, I
It's
mean,
not hard for
I'm
me.
happy that he got a podium. I'm happy that he was P3. I'm happy, even though it was surprising to everyone because it was not. I thought George, you saw my predictions. I
Yeah,
thought
as I
George
said,
Russell.
I was either like Oscar or like a Mercedes driver, but nowhere I saw one of the Ferrari in the
Like,
podium.
Charles, where did you come from? Like,
Exactly.
cool.
But Charles is good like that. He's a good driver, so I was not like
Mm.
that surprised. I mean, it was him, so Charles can make miracle happen. We all saw that in the past, so yeah. But they can have the Monza trophy, by the way, because the trophies aren't that pretty. So I will give them to
Haven't,
Ferrari.
I
So
haven't
just
seen them yet. I was
you
on
haven't
break.
seen them yet.
No, because
You
here's
should
the
watch
thing.
them.
I was supposed to go to Monza for fun because I've never been to Monza. And this is like me like speaking like I'm always at races. I'm always at different races, but I've never ever in my life been to Monza. But the opportunity came for me to go to Texas tomorrow
So
for the
obviously,
WEC, Lone Star Le Mans. So I said, you know what? When do I have the chance to go to Texas? Like, I'm not interested in quota for F1, but WEC is something that I really, really love. And I like endurance racing. And you know what? I wanted to say this earlier. You know who made a really good switch? the Swiss driver Louis Delettre. He was so good in F2. He won Monaco. He was performing really, really well. He also, had a couple of podiums. But instead of continuing his F2 career, he made a decision with his dad, who was also a former, racing driver, Jean Demi Delettre. Yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing this because they have French names, even though they're Swiss. Claire, you can Google and correct me anytime you want.
I
But
think it was fine.
but they made the decision for Louis to switch from single-seater to sports cars to endurance racing because it was just too expensive to continue in F2. And now he won, like this weekend, he won the 4 hours of Spa in WEC.
I mean,
He has
and
won,
WEC,
like, he's placed in Daytona, 24 hours of Le Mans. Like, he was P2 this year in Le Mans.
yeah.
Like, it's insane what a series or what a switch can do for a driver if you love racing that much.
I mean, yeah, I understand. I think that's why also Valentino Rossi choose WEC. You have less races, but they are so like fulfilling, when you manage to win an endurance race. I think that's way more fulfilling than like another series, like another race that you won in Formula One or stuff. Because you have to be like in the car for 4 hours, 6
24
hours,
hours. Like, how
24
do you
hours.
pee? Like, what
Yeah.
if you're hungry?
I mean, you sleep 4 hours and then you're back in the car. No, that's actually mental. But yeah, I can understand why they will choose WEC. I think Logan will be good in WEC. I will see Logan in WEC
I
more
think
than
so
Logan
too.
in IndyCar. Literally.
I want
That's
to see him try both. He's very young. I
yeah,
think I
true.
want to see him try both first. I want to see him maybe like test in IndyCar. I want to see him test in WEC. I'm even open to seeing him in Formula E or
Right.
DTM with Andretti. Do you know, like, or
Yeah,
DS Penske? I mean, it's always interesting to see what can happen. I mean, look at Pascal Wehrlein. Like, he had a short-lived F1 stint, and now he's the world champion in Formula E.
definitely. Definitely. I mean, Formula E is like another series that it could be great at.
I
It's
mean,
not that different than
I
Formula
don't
One.
know why, but like the Dutch Grand Prix kind of opened everyone's eyes. I'm not entirely too sure if you understand what I mean, but like we saw the Alpine try to actually fight, which was okay.
On
I
one
think
side of the garage.
Alpine is a very interesting team because they were fine last season. I mean, if you compare them last season to now, it's very like shocking because you had them on the podium and now they're like trying to fight for
Definitely.
points.
Definitely.
The Sauber are still exactly as unforgettable as they were last season. I hate to say it
It's
because
worse.
it's
It's worse.
it's worse. I know it's really, really worse. And then you think, Nico Hulkenberg, what are you doing? Why are you going to Sauber?
He's going to Audi. Sauber is like 1 year, and
I know.
2025 is like no one really
But do
cares.
we believe in Audi? Like, I'm saying this as a German person, Claire. Like, do we believe in what Audi can do?
Actually, I do believe in Audi. Maybe I'm the only one, but I do believe in them. I think they're going to do great.
I have an Audi. Do I believe in them as a single-seater racing? I'm not sure yet, but hey, I drive their race cars, so I'm fine with the sports car version. But like, we will see. Like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because obviously, like, I think it's going to be nice to have something really German related, not just Mercedes, because first of all, Mercedes sits in the UK. Like, I know that Mercedes is a German manufacturer, but hey, like, come on. Like, as a German person trying to get more stable jobs in motorsport, I would love to have a headquarters here in Germany for F1, so I don't have a visa problem. But, having Audi just near me, like 3 hours away from me, that would be very, very interesting because I think they would it's gonna start off slow. I think one season or the first half of the season, depending on who they hire, what else happens, I think they're gonna start off slow, but I think we might be surprised.
They're coming in 2026, so everyone will be like everyone is starting from scratch, not really from scratch, but with the new regulations, you don't have an advantage, you know. You have the new regulation to incorporate in your car, and everyone is starting at the same level. That's why I think Audi could surprise us. If they were coming in the middle of the regulation, I was like, I just don't think they're going to change a lot. But this is new regulation, and a lot of things are going to change, I think, in 2026. We can already see things changing with like the end of the Red Bull domination, because this is what's happening.
It's already started. I mean,
Yeah.
The thing is, I never called it the Red Bull domination. I called it the Max Verstappen domination. And that's because Checo Perez is another interesting topic. And I mean, with every Grand Prix that takes place, you're just like, why is Checo still there? Because last season he had a couple of podiums at the start.
Yeah.
I think that's
this season
respectable.
also. This season also.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of podiums, but he's not a very good qualifier.
No.
He's not consistent. And I understand that Max Verstappen is a good enough driver to keep for the whole time. But come on, Red Bull. Like, we saw it in Zandvoort. I mean, when Checo finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, P6. And that's, I think, the best he's done so far. Like now. Because he has been he's been having his difficulties so far this season. I think this is the best finish in a while, which is okay. It's giving points. It's okay. But if you're driving an equal machinery as Max, you have to be able to compete. Even if you're not getting P2, you don't have to be P2, but if you're consistently earning the points, if you're consistently qualifying in Q3, you know, qualifying good and, you know, trying to match his performance, I think you'd be much better off. Because we didn't touch on this. Like, how did you feel once he was re-signed?
I didn't thought he was going to be re-signed, because for me, as you said, like the clear opponent of Red Bull at the moment is McLaren in terms of world championship constructor. You know, like if you want to win the constructor championship, you need to beat McLaren. Ferrari and Mercedes can fight for the third spot, but that's it, you know. And if you want to beat them, you have to beat at least Oscar Piastri, you know, because Max is so far ahead. So Checo Perez should be at least 4 or 5, but not 6 or worse, you know. You can have Max in front of you. You can have, let's say, Lando and Oscar, because they have a better car than the Red Bull one at the moment. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the 2 Ferrari, but you cannot have the 2 Ferrari and the 2 Mercedes in front of you while you have the second best car on the grid. Like, it's not.
That's embarrassing.
It's not supposed to happen.
At this point, it is quite embarrassing. And then all the crashes that happened, I don't know. I think Red Bull really needs to rethink. And I think Zandvoort was the race that showed. I think it shows a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, true.
Because, I mean, I ran the track before, and it's not an easy track. You have, like in Spa, you have the elevations. In Zandvoort, you have, like, the dunes, you know, you're going up like this curve. And we saw it because Daniel Ricciardo messed up last season and obviously broke his wrist. We saw how that happened. We saw how it took place. And, I mean, it was funny to see him salute that during the quality of the practice. I'm not sure which session that was, but he was like, hello, bye-bye.
Hello.
Not this time. I think that was one of my favorite moments this race weekend.
It's really funny.
It was good. But I don't know, like, I feel like this is also what happened. Like, obviously, like, as a journalist, I have all the even if I'm there, I have, like, my phone with the apps, you know, watching F1 TV, watching, you know, Sky Germany, and I listen to whatever everyone says. Like, if you say something where do you watch Canal Plus, right?
Yes.
So if you say something that you told me that or someone said that Canal Plus confirmed Kimi Antonelli for Mercedes. I think maybe you saw this.
I didn't hear it, but Julien Febvre, who is the journalist of Canal Plus, sometimes he's talking a little bit too much. Like, he's so I love him. I actually adore this journalist. He's so funny, and he loves the sport so much, and you can hear it in his, like, commentary and stuff. But sometimes he's carried away, you know, and he starts spilling little secrets. And you like, Julia, it wasn't supposed to like be out yet. Maybe you did something that you shouldn't do. Is that the only one? Because we also have Jacques Villeneuve, the 1997 world champion of Formula One.
I saw him get married in Las Vegas.
Oh my God. In a Williams. He won in a Williams. If everyone remember that, that was the last time that Williams won the championship, actually, 1997. And sometimes also he get carried away and just spill some F1 secrets, like that the paddock is aware of, but no one else is. And I didn't listen to the fact that they maybe spilled the beans on Kimi Antonelli singing for Mercedes, but I know for a fact that they spilled the bean about like Esteban Ocon and Bruno Famin not sing A to A. I saw that they spilled the bean about like a lot of things actually. Probably Logan Sargeant also, but at some point. But I was like, yeah, Julien loves to do that. He get carried away. He comments the world race, and sometimes some secrets just spill in the middle of the race. And I love it. I love it.
I mean, it was the same because here's the thing. What happened is that Toto Wolff was talking to the Austrian broadcast, Servus TV, and he said, "Oh yeah, our drivers, George and Kimi." I fell like I mean, I wasn't working in the media center per se. Like I was there for a short while, but I was doing F1 Academy from the paddock and technically from the garage because you can always watch the broadcasts from there too.
Yeah.
So when I heard this, I like looked around and I looked at my German friends who work for McLaren Hospitality and I was like, is he serious?
That is
I looked at them and I was like, is he okay? Like, did he have, we're in Holland. Like, did he have something? Like, is Toto okay? But you know what? I grilled him later on. Like, we were all like in, the sessions, we were listening to what he was saying. And Kimi Antonelli will be driving in the free practice in Monza. And I'm very interested to see that. Which is why sometimes I'm kind of slapping myself, like, why am I not going to Monza to see this historical moment? The moment that Kimi becomes the Mercedes driver that everyone is talking about, that everyone is hyping.
In Italy.
But I want my peace and quiet in Texas, in WEC, watching everyone with my little American flag, like, hey, let's go.
Also, with the news that just broke about Franco Colapinto, if they announce Kimi Antonelli in Monza, I don't think everyone will really care that much because it's like a breaking news, but it's a null breaking news. Like everyone is waiting for
everyone knows
this.
It's like an open secret.
Exactly.
Unless they flip us and like suddenly announce. Do you know what we said? We said, what if Valtteri Bottas or Daniel Ricciardo gets announced? What if Liam Lawson gets announced?
Are we also, if Valtteri Bottas is back at Mercedes, I will
have a party.
Tear of joy. But I think this man got PTSD. I don't think he's going back to Mercedes whatsoever.
But he's not a bad driver.
No, he's the best number 2 driver in the history of Formula One for me. It's better than anyone. No one did what Valtteri Bottas did for Mercedes.
Because if Lewis was out, Valtteri Bottas
was in front.
That's the thing. Valtteri Bottas was in front, or at least on the podium, or getting.
He was winning.
Because if Max DNFs, where the hell is Checo? Way back. Because then you have the Ferrari boys with the McLarens right in front.
And the Mercedes. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas was the best second driver. It was like, oh, Jude, you cannot be at the top star of the podium. Don't worry, I've got your back. I'm going to be at the top star of the podium. It was great like this. But yeah, Mercedes wasn't great for him. It was great for Mercedes, but Mercedes wasn't great for him, in my opinion. That's why I think the only option for Valtteri Bottas to still be in Formula One is Audi. And that's it.
Me too. I think it's Audi, unless Mercedes make him into a reserve driver again.
He's all for that.
Like you never know. I think Valtteri's skills could still, and his expertise could still be used, because I think the team we need to look out for, and considering Lando was so dominant in Zandvoort, is McLaren. Because in my opinion, like, I think next year is the end of the Red Bull dominance, and I think Lando could be world champion with Oscar close behind.
I will love that. I will love that. I will cry.
I mean, I want my Ferrari world champion again. Like, I want
I will
actually,
McLaren.
Carlos, I cannot root for in Ferrari next year because obviously he will be in the Williams. And it hurts me throughout every race weekend. I mean, because I have to be so professional not to like show, my actual fandom, like who I support. Even in my writing, I have to be careful. But if McLaren wins the World Constructor Championship, and if Lando or Oscar, I'm happy with both.
Yeah.
If one of them wins the Drivers' Championship, I will have a party. Like I will pay for everyone's flight
I will
tickets.
be so happy.
We will have a big party.
I would be so happy.
And I think it can happen soon, in 1 or 2 years. Because what McLaren does so well, and you can see it, is that their upgrades, they know what to do.
Yeah.
They're really looking at the data. They're looking at what their drivers need. They look at what Lando likes, they look at what Oscar likes, and they work around that.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Hard. They're the best driver pairing that you have.
And they're the only one who managed to bring upgrades and never downgrades. Because, like, every time they say, oh, we are bringing upgrades, it works. The upgrades are just working, and some of the other team are like, oh, we are bringing upgrades, and it's done great. It's not upgrades. No, nothing is working anymore. That's the problem with Mercedes. Like, it was working so well in Spa, so well in in Silverstone and stuff, and now nowhere to be seen.
It worked well in Miami. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, I know that Lando was not emotional during that. I mean, he was happy. He was like emotionally happy, but he wasn't really crying like he did in Miami, because obviously Miami was the first one. You know who was crying? His dad, Adam.
Everyone was crying. I was crying.
I was crying because for me, like, I missed out on Miami. I didn't see that. Like, Isha saw that, our girl who does the tech stuff, the websites, and she's teaching her to write articles right now as well. So that's really fun. But seeing him on that podium, first of all, I went a bit back. I don't know if you saw my story, but I went backwards because I was like, I washed my hair. I don't want to be under the champagne. So I let everyone else go to the front, and I was like a little bit behind. But seeing that moment, seeing how proud Adam was of his son, like, oh, I finally get to see you live. His mom was there on a surprise. Yeah. What a surprise to make. Like, you're coming there. He didn't know she was there. And you see your son win. Like, that trip was worth it.
But that's the only, thing I'm sad about, because I went to Barcelona. That's the only race I ever went to. I went to Barcelona this year. And Lando was on the podium, but he was P2 after getting the pole position, and he wasn't happy about that. And I can understand that. So I saw him on the podium being kind of sad, and I was like, oh no.
And you were happy. I know you were very happy.
I was so happy. I was so happy. I was happy for him, and I was happy for Lewis, because I love Lewis. And Lewis, it was his first podium of the season, and for quite some times. And I was absolutely delighted. I was so happy. I was literally crying tears of joy. And Lewis was so happy. He was smiling so big, I remember. And Lando wasn't. And I was like, I wish I could have see him, being happy about a podium. But obviously he was hungry for winning, and he wanted to win. And now he's happy again.
That's what killed him in between. Like, you had Austria and you had Silverstone, where he was really fighting to win. But I think what drivers sometimes need to remember is, hey, you love racing, and I know that you want to win, but remember why you love racing first.
Yeah.
Because I think once you remember that, and once you remember that feeling, because now Lando knows what it feels like to win. Now he knows what it feels like to fight for the point. Because if we remember last season, that McLaren was tragic in the beginning. What the hell? Like, they were still, it was Bahrain, and they were like testing.
Literally.
He was pitting like 5 times, and I was standing there. Like, I was in that race, and I was like, what am I watching? Then I look at the Ferrari, and I look at Aston Martin. I was like, can I come there? Like, can I watch from you there? Because I wasn't having this. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. And now they're actually putting in the work. They're putting like all of these upgrades. And now people are challenged. It's not even just McLaren. You have the Ferrari and the Mercedes. I mean, Lewis Hamilton won after how long? I mean, come on.
I don't remember. A lot of time.
That is insane because as growing up, like Lewis Hamilton was the driver
Was
of my
winning.
time.
He
It was
was
the
winning.
driver of my time when I can understand racing. Felipe Massa, Lewis Hamilton, you know, those were my drivers. Nico Rosberg, I love Nico
I
Rosberg.
love Nico Rosberg.
Valtteri Bottas in that Mercedes, like that was my time of F1. And now, you know, to see some of them struggle, it's not easy for me. It's
No.
probably not easy for you too.
No.
And now that things are changing, the regulations are changing. I'm like, Christian Horner, watch your back. Because first of all, Horner, not everything is about Red Bull.
Literally.
Take care of Liam Lawson, because if you and Helmut Marko cannot even decide if he has a seat or not, and if you're rehiring Checo, you know, with the assumption that it will make Max happy. I think Max wants to be challenged. I think Max is a driver that enjoys the challenge.
I think nowadays he does. He did it at some points because he wanted to win the championship so bad, but he has a lot of championship under his belt now, and he's going to have another one this season because I'm pretty sure he's going to win this season, the driver championship. So I'm like, maybe he will want to be challenged, and he will have to be challenged at some points. You have to bring new faces. This is what happened with Sebastian Vettel. You know, at some point they had to bring Daniel Ricciardo. You have to bring new faces. You have to bring people that are going to like be the future of F1. Because literally 3 or 4 days ago, Max Verstappen was seated on a sofa and he was saying, "I'm not going to stay in F1 for 200 more races. The boy is going to be gone soon." So you need to plan the future, and the future of Red Bull is not Checo Perez. It's not.
I'm very intrigued because you know what I'm doing this season is I'm going to the Mexican Grand Prix.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen because obviously last season the Mexican Grand Prix was quite tragic.
He crashed out of the
Checo.
And we have a lot of time. I think at this point, because we're talking about the Mexican Grand Prix, I would really like for you to come back, but we have to bring Tom on. Like, Tom, if you're listening to this, we need you on this podcast because I think your insights can really put Claire and me, who are sometimes very delulu, like it's, you know, put us straight. But
he's delulu also for Red Bull.
He wants Liam Lawson on. Yeah, of course, I forgot to send him the picture. I met Liam Lawson. I need to send him that photo. But you know what? Like I said, the Dutch Grand Prix. I have a question for you. Describe it in 3 words.
I have no idea.
See? Me too.
Wait. I just need to like turn off the light because I'm in the dark at the moment. So wait.
It's okay. The followers cannot see us yet. At some point, we're going to be streaming this on Twitch.
I couldn't see you, girl. That was the problem.
Oh. Yes, I'm a delight.
Yes. Now you can see me. You will need to cut this part.
I am not cutting it because I like it.
No. Okay. Bring back the question again.
Describe the Dutch Grand Prix in 3 words.
Okay. I was going to say demure. But actually,
no, it was not.
Actually, it was demure because it was quite like nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Logan, the thing is, it's not just the race. Describe the whole weekend. There you go.
Oh, the whole weekend. Oh, not demure. Chaos.
Yes.
Chaotic. Because of like the crash. Unexpected because of Alpine. Mostly Pierre Gasly. And I would say finally, because of Lando converting his pole to win. You know? And he also managed to get pole position, fastest lap, and winning the Grand Prix.
But can we talk about his starts?
No, we're not.
Not stress. You know, actually, no, we'll leave it. Lando, if you're listening to this, please
No.
work on your starts. And if you get pole position in Monza, which I'm kind of not hoping. I know Claire is a McLaren fan, but I'm a Ferrari fan, and this is my home race. But if you get a pole position, please work on your starts
Keep
because
it.
that stressed me. That
Because
stressed me.
lap
Like,
one,
as soon as I
turn
saw
one.
that start, I knew Max Verstappen was gonna be there, and it's gonna take a while for Lando to overtake. So until
It
that
didn't take
moment, I was not breathing.
I was watching both Lando and Oscar. The both of
Did
them
you have the
lost
split
one
screen?
position. Yeah, the both of them lost one position at the start.
Oh my
The
God.
both of them. And I
Yeah.
was watching it, I was like, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I love being a McLaren fan at the moment. Thank you, boys.
Well, how do you think I feel about being a Ferrari fan at the moment?
That's
Like,
a
I'm
good
going to IndyCar and I don't even like, I'm like there and I'm like, I don't know who I'm a fan of. I'm a journalist. Yay.
I mean, the Ferrari fan are past the point of Delulu. Like, how many Forza Ferrari do you have in yourself?
I
At
was
this
supposed
point,
to go to Monza with my friends, Claire.
you should to see the Ferrari fan
But
who
I'm
is back
already
on
flying
time.
to Texas because I cannot bring myself in this kind of hurt.
I think they're going to be on the podium, at least one of them, but I don't think they're going to
But
win.
you know what we're gonna do, Claire? You and I will go to Monza in 2025. How about that?
I just don't know what I'm going to do in 1 month.
I don't care. You and I are going. We're gonna bring Fleur. We're gonna bring Anna. We're gonna bring Tom. We're gonna go.
I mean, I should go to Monza if you come
I
with me,
will
like
pick you up and I will
a
drive you
MotoGP
there.
race. Come with me to a MotoGP race, and I will go to Monza with you.
Actually, we'll do it. I'll go to MotoGP with you. You come to DTM with me.
Oh yeah, totally. I could do that. I could do that.
I can drive to you and pick you up. Like that's not an issue. Like
I don't think I'm living very far away from Germany.
I don't care. I will drive to France. I owe them money anyways with my speeding tickets. We can beat, actually, you know what? At this point, we are so delulu that we will race 4 hour drivers. We will win. But I think it was an interesting, like, I really hoped, I know this is weird because I'm not a Mercedes fan at all. I actually really hoped that George Russell would at least be on the podium.
I think it's going to.
I think Monza is going to be the week.
I think it's going to be top 5. The Mercedes, I have hope on the Mercedes. I have more hope in the Mercedes than I have on the Aston Martin.
Yeah, that's a given. I have no hope for the Aston Martin. I feel like I gave Lance such bad luck because I was actually in the Aston Martin garage this weekend. And you know what? I was also in the V-Carb and I was in the Alpine garage this weekend in Zandvoort.
I mean, you prove bad luck to half of the V-Carb garage and half of the Alpine one. The Esteban side.
But I gave luck to the McLaren one. I like to think that I gave.
I mean, you gave luck to Pierre Gasly, as I said. For me, driver of the day.
Yeah, I was actually standing. I thought I would be an Esteban Ocon's side, but they were like, "Oh no, go to Gasly," because they remembered me from last year. And the people who do Freca, because Freca is powered by Alpine, the Formula Regional. I know a lot of the people from there, and they're like, "Oh, Chiara, you're here," and I'm like, "Hi."
I would love to go to this garage. Literally, I would love to.
You need to come with me, Claire.
I would love to go to Alpine. I don't want to be in the McLaren garage. I want to be in the Alpine one. I want to be inside the cars.
Let's see. If something happens, like the races I will go to, maybe I will bring you a little surprise.
Oh, literally. Bring me like Esteban Ocon. It would be a nice surprise.
I can. Like I designed his car for like the model cars, so I technically could give you Esteban Ocon.
He had kind of a bad week, but yeah, Pierre Gasly had a good one, so
I think he will feel much better in Haas.
Yeah, definitely. I hope the car will be as great as the car is this season. Like, I hope for a 2024 Haas car for Esteban Ocon and not a 2023 Haas car when Haas was at the back of the grid. No, literally, I can wait for 2026. I think that's like the morale of the whole GP this weekend. I can wait for 2025 because I think it's going to bring a lot of surprises.
So now I have another question to end the podcast. Give me your Monza predictions. Give me your top 3 for Monza. Give me a bold, crazy prediction.
I already did that. I'm just going to repeat them because I did give my prediction at some point.
Where did you give
in the Discord? I did give the prediction. I said, and this is my Delulu side, Max P3, Charles P2, Lando P1.
In Monza?
Yeah.
Is this
I
think give me your, like, as a journalist, give me your journalistic one.
I think it could happen. Keep it? I think it could happen. Let me like
Claire, I will buy you a drink if this happens.
You know, the McLaren car is so great that it could still be on top, you know? And also Charles Leclerc needs support. And obviously we all know the
Tifosi are going Carlos.
Yeah, I put Carlos at number 5. I say Oscar P4 and Carlos P5.
Okay, that's fair. Give me a bold prediction.
I already give you a bold prediction that's not going to happen in the rest.
Bolder. Give me the craziest thing. What do you think will happen?
At the Monza race?
Yeah.
I will actually absolutely die to see Pierre Gasly back in the podium at Monza. This is the kind of thing that I want to see happen, but I'm not as delulu as that to think that it's going to happen. But this is the thing.
Post this on the Chaos in the Paddock Instagram. You know that.
Yeah, you can. I want Pierre Gasly on this podium because he won his first race at Monza, and I want him back in the podium at Monza.
Actually, yeah, I would be very excited to do that as well. I'm very sad that I missed out on his run for Antoine in Spa because I came a bit later. And for those of you who don't know me, I actually was there during that race when the accident happened and everything. So for me, being a part of it every year was always nice. And I was also quite close to Delano. So when that happened, it was like kind of mirroring each other. And I think Pierre Gasly, for me, is a very interesting driver because he actually has a lot of skill. He has a lot of fight in him, but he is also so kind-hearted. And I think Esteban is also very kind-hearted, but Esteban knows what it's like to lose his seat and have to sit out. Pierre Gasly was swapped, so he came from Red Bull to AlphaTauri back in the day.
I think that's why Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly aren't friends, except for the obviously like the beef they have going on that no one knows what's happening really. The both of them are so similar in terms of driving style and racecraft and ability, and even like personality wise. I think they love their family and friends so much they will literally fight for them. And when they don't like someone, they don't like them at all. And they don't like each other.
So it's like us.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, I say us. It's actually, yeah, that's why I think I will be like great friends with the both of them. I think we will probably like be friends. But you should have them as friends and not as enemies. I think it sucks to have people like Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon as your enemy. I think they don't treat their enemy very well. So that's why. But yeah, I will absolutely die to see Pierre Gasly back on this podium. I don't think that's going to happen. That's why my real prediction is Lando, Charles, and Max. The Tifosi support could bring Charles P2, and the McLaren car and the new, like, the fact that he won, I think it could win another time. I think the fact that he won in like the Dutch Grand Prix could bring his confidence back, and he could be like, okay, I won a second time, so it wasn't like a one-time win.
Mm-hmm.
I can win another time. I think it needed that, you know. The first win was obviously a really great win and very emotional and stuff. But he needed the second win to be like, okay, I won once, I won twice, so I can win a third time, a fourth time, five times. So I think it could happen. And Max is just great like that. So Max will be on the
Can I
podium.
ask you what you think of the black and yellow suits?
I don't. Actually, I liked, you know, I liked the Ferrari match, the Ferrari black and white, black
Oh
and yellow.
yeah, that's sexy. It's very
They
sexy.
they're cute. I was like, okay, I can. And I saw the suit, and I was like, why is the suit like checkered? What's happening? I just don't understand. But that's Ferrari. They're going to fuck up the livery also, like they did in the past few races. It was Miami. The Miami special livery was bad, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a special livery in Monza, and the special livery will be bad also because Ferrari love to do bad special livery for some reason. So I can wait to see
It
that.
was McDonald's last year, and now it's like a Snoop Dogg song.
Exactly. Black and yellow, black and yellow. I was like, no.
This needs to be quoted. I will tell Mary to make a post about that.
I did say that. I did say like shout out to Wiz Khalifa when I saw the black and yellow suit. I was like, shout out to Wiz Khalifa, black and yellow. But yeah, that's we will see. But I'm pretty sure one of them will be on the podium at least. Maybe not winning, but on the podium. So this is my true prediction, and my bold one would be Pierre Gasly back on the podium. Never going to happen.
So if I'm being honest, I think that Charles could win this one.
You being
And I
Delulu.
think now that he was very surprised by Zandvoort, I think he's like, okay, I actually have some sort of consistency going on. Because I just really have Fred Vassar's face like waiting for Charles on the podium. Because I mean, I saw him. He was like, wait,
What's
what is this?
happening?
He was like calculating in his head what the hell happened, right? So I think Charles could do it. I see Lando in P2, but I also see Carlos in P3.
You're Delulu. That's the Delulu in you speaking. And you said I was Delulu. No, yeah, you are Delulu.
But that's why I love having you on here because you and I we have different predictions. Sometimes we agree with each other.
I am the true McLaren fan. I am the true McLaren.
Yeah, I'm not. Here's the thing though, I'm not a McLaren fan, but
I
I'm
am.
a Lando fan.
I am.
But I am a Ferrari fan, and for me, it's team over driver. So
Same.
even though Carlos, I mean, I'm a fan of Carlos as well. So even though Carlos is leaving Ferrari, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna be a Ferrari fan anymore. I grew up, I mean, my parents, one of their first dates was going to the Nürburgring with Schumacher and everyone, for me, that's insane that was their first date. But like, for me, it holds a special place in my heart. So I will always love Ferrari. Do I agree with every choice they make? No. Absolutely not.
That's the thing with Ferrari
Ferrari problems cause alcoholism. It causes depression. It causes anxiety, especially the pit stops, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's be real. The pit stops, cars with Luigi worked much better than the Ferrari pit stop right now. But you know what? I will always have them in my heart. Right now, I'm really rooting for Lando because Ferrari has their chances. They're very historical. Maybe even much more historical than McLaren, I dare to say. But, being in Monza is always going to be special for them. And I think both drivers will have extra motivation. So if Carlos, and I know Carlos has it in him to be on the podium, I think there is a chance. My bold prediction, you know what? I will stick to this because I say it every time. Haas on the podium.
Yeah, Delulu.
I think I'm gonna be the Delulu one this week, and you can be
I would
the
love for
journalist.
that
You
to
can be
happen.
the journalist. I'll be the Delulu one this week. But it's still on my bingo because I have my little notebook in front of me where I put all of my notes from work. And I was looking at it today. I had my bingo and I said that, Max DNF. Logan gets replaced. Oh, I have to highlight that now. So you guys are experiencing it live. Logan gets replaced. I have Hulkenberg podium, Daniel on pole, Albon on the podium, Monza Magic. So that is going to be like, I didn't say Monza Magic Ferrari, I said Monza Magic. So if we have someone different on the podium, I'm gonna count that. If it's Nico Hulkenberg in the task, I will be very happy because I think
You deserve.
finally, a German. I really want a German on the podium. I had it on Pascal Wehrlein winning the championship. I heard my anthem twice because Porsche is also like a German, it's a German manufacturer. So if I get that, I will be happy. But another bold prediction I will add is Max and Checo will crash into each other.
They have to be close to each other to do that, and they're not close to each other.
I think it's going to be these times. Let me be the Lulu. I deserve it.
I would love that. I would actually love that. 2 Red Bull out.
As long as it's safe. We don't want anyone to get
No,
hurt.
gently. A crash, very cutesy, very demure.
Just touching.
Very
like flirting. There we go. They're flirting.
Flirting with each other. We just need them out of the race. The car can be crashed, not their bones. Everyone is fine, just the car. But yeah, I think it will be like my prediction. I can't wait to see Monza. It's like in 5 days. It's soonish. I can wait.
Starting on Thursday with Media Day. And remember, everyone has to keep their eyes out because the rumor is that Kimi Antonelli will be announced. Yeah. Whether it's going to be Media Day or after the race, it's still probably going to be in Monza. Don't scare me because I will be in a different continent and I will stay awake. I will sacrifice my sleep to stay awake. And if anything happens, my friends, please call me. Tag me. Tag Claire. Even tag Claire. Because Claire will send it to us.
I think yes. I think it's going to happen on Media Day. And everybody will be watching Franco Colapinto anyway. Everybody will be watching Franco Colapinto.
There you go. I think Franco Colapinto will get points.
I would love that to happen. I would absolutely love that to happen.
Because then Colapinto could become a full-time reserve driver. And when Carlos leaves to do something else, maybe Carlos will go back to Red Bull. If Max leaves or if Checo leaves, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You really never know now. And I think if that happens, I think Colapinto would make an excellent choice because Colapinto leaving F2 could mean that Luke Browning can move up. And then we have a very interesting situation. And I think this season is the season that things are really starting to make sense.
Yeah, literally. I agree with you.
It's like all the worlds are aligning. We need to look at the astrology of things. Maybe we need to see who is a Capricorn, who is an Aries, a Gemini, whoever. We need to see the birth charts. And I don't know.
I can wait for this.
Good things, interesting things are coming. And I'm excited to see it in Monza, especially when the European races are over.
Yes.
Because that's hell for you and me and Fleur and happy for everyone else.
Yeah, we're going to have to wake up and go to sleep late. Just can't wait.
I'll be okay. That's why I'm going to most of them because I said I don't want to do this. Like I'm not gonna work from home. I need to see the daylight because Australia really killed me. Shanghai killed me. No, actually, I was there for Shanghai. Shanghai Formula E killed me. Japan.
We're going to have to wake up and go to sleep very late. That's why we will survive. We will survive.
But that is also all we have time for today. Thank you so much for being here. I love speaking to you because I think you always bring such an interesting, mindset to the racing itself. And you're not as delulu as me right now.
You see,
so you were the voice of reason for this episode, Claire. And I am so happy that you're always ready to hop on when needed.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I loved talking and yapping with you.
If your predictions happen, I am buying you a drink. I'm sending you a bottle of wine. I'm stealing the one from the podium and I will ship it to you.
I will drink it with pleasure. We'll see. Maybe one of us will be right. I can't wait to see that.
But that was Chaos in the Paddock for you guys. Be sure to follow us on social media at Chaos in the Paddock on all social media sites except for X, where we are called Chaos in the Pad. And be sure to follow Claire on all social media as well at Racing Dolls, especially on TikTok. Her TikTok videos are great.
I try my best.
See you guys next time, especially for our Monza review, because we will see if our predictions come true. And that was Chaos in the Paddock.